I've heard you reference the term real communication and like why that's so important. What is, quote unquote, real communication and why is that so important?
I think a lot of times when we think about communicating well, we put communication up on a pedestal where it becomes more of a performance rather than a shared or lived experience. And so we think of communication as having lines to recite, that it's gotta be delivered in the perfect way, that it's almost like life is a stage that we're performing on rather than the act of real connection being made between 2 or a group of human beings. Because right now, I mean, what we're doing, yeah, you and I are sitting here talking to each other through a microphone, but other people are hearing this. Other people are going to be in the future hearing this, and we're in a way creating an experience for them. That's a communication platform, and while there is a somewhat performative element to a podcast, right? You still have the you still have to block out this idea that you have something specific that you must say, that you have to say, that the world is expecting anything of you. I tell people all the time, listen, unless you are reciting lines from somebody's favorite movie, no one knows what you're going to say. So show up in the way that you intend to show up. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to create something that doesn't feel like us in communication. That's what I mean by real communication.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times when you think of communication, it feels like a one-sided thing. Like you're thinking about what's coming out and not as much about what's coming back in. And I think like even me, I need to like really focus on half of communication is listening and like, you know, we have these ideas we want to express and we think about what we're going to say next, but I think like the real value comes from like the other half of communicating.
Which is the extraction. I label it as exertion versus extraction. Did you ever take a class on listening?
No, this is what I'm doing with you. That's why I
Did you ever take a class on asking questions?
no.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked on it, right? But have you ever taken a class on what it means to sit and not try to, solve a problem for someone, but to just be there and show up for them and be present and hold space for them? A class on Did anyone ever take a class on empathy? Did anyone ever take a class on understanding? Like, most of our formal education, unless you're like a psychology major in college or like me, a journalist, you're not taking classes like that. You're taking classes on debate, public speaking, and that is all about getting your idea out to somebody and exerting your opinions and your ideas on somebody. Every test in K through 12 and into college has a right and a wrong answer that you're being graded on. And so the entire teaching process is I, the teacher, have the answer. I'm going to exert it on you, and you have to regurgitate that back to me. So the things that we've been doing, man, listening, asking great questions, holding space for someone when they're telling you a story, and leaning into uncomfortable moments and being okay with that. None of us have ever been taught how to do that, at least in formal education.